Lead generation is a very complex process. I am always challenged when I see online companies advertising, we can generate for you 1,000 leads for $300. Those numbers are nonsense. They don't make any sense. Unless the lead generation is a very simple one, such as, for example, find all dentists in Germany, or something very simple where you can put this data and this information on a list and search and find those people. When we are talking about a complex lead generation, the challenges are many. And the main challenge, if I can give a title on that, the main challenge is what I call the understanding of things. And let me dive a little bit in this title. So the understanding of things. First of all, understand who are the decision makers that you want to find. So with whom would your client would like to speak to? And that is not an easy task. And the reason why it's not easy is because it depends on many variables. So one variable is understand the nature of the business of your client, what he wants to achieve, and understand also the industry. So, are you targeting small, medium companies, for example, or are you targeting big corporations? Because if you are targeting small, medium companies, for instance, then probably the CEO of the company is going to be the final decision maker, and probably he is going to be the person that you would like to speak to. But if you are targeting a very big corporation, then guaranteed the CEO of the company is not the proper person to speak to, let alone the fact that if at all you find his contact details, his email, or his telephone number, he is not going to be the appropriate person. Now, do you want to speak initially with the final decision maker or not? Why am I asking this? Because if you want to speak initially to the final decision maker without speaking first to other players inside the organization that can influence him, or they are part of the decision-making process, and you call directly the final, the ultimate decision maker, and you get a no since day one, then it doesn't make any sense to start pitching the other people, because anyway you have already a no. So if that is the case, maybe it should be more appropriate to start contacting the peripheral decision makers, the people that are also part of the decision-making process without being the ultimate, the final decision makers. That depends, of course, again, of the size of the company. What is the geography that you are targeting? So, let's assume a corporation that you are targeting is based in the US, but has offices also in Europe, in Asia, in South America, and you want to talk with a person that is responsible for the sales in specific European countries. Should you call the headquarters in the US? Should you call the headquarters in Europe? Should you call probably the regional, local offices in each country? Are you aware with whom you would like to speak to? Do you understand with who you like to speak? Does your client understand with who he likes to speak? We used to have as a client a company that sold click and collect solutions. Specifically now with the COVID all around, click and collect, it's a way to do business. So we are talking about physical machines that are being put outside of stores of big companies so that people can order their product and they can drive to the store, get out of the car, put a pin and collect their product. So the company wanted that we speak to, they identified as the decision makers the store manager, the technical manager, the technical director, the store concept manager. And all these roles for a decision for a corporation to take a decision on applying a solution like that in the stores of their company, all those roles are the wrong roles. So more appropriate would be to talk to the regional sales manager, to the director of sales. So my question is, does your client know with which players he would like to speak to? Is language a barrier? Depends. Depends on the country that you are calling. Depends on the size of the company and the industry where those players are active. So speaking English for somebody that works on a cyber threat intelligence company is a bigger probability that for someone that sells accessories for trucks, for example. Talking to a commercial company, to a distribution in a country, language is going to be a barrier. Are you aware of that? Unless you target big distributions and big companies, which are more corporate. So the correct understanding of the geography, the industry, the size of the company, the culture of the industry that you are targeting are going to make you understand which are the proper players to target. Once you have this understanding, then what it requires is to manually dive in LinkedIn Sales Navigator or Google and go there and find the website of the company, how many employers this company has, identify the proper players, be careful that they are still working in this company and they are not working somewhere else and they used to be part of the company that you are targeting in the past. If it's necessary, find extra additional players that surround the final decision maker, or they are going to help you identify who the proper decision maker in the company is. Make sure you find the telephone number of the company, if it is possible through LinkedIn and through the tool called Lucia, which is a LinkedIn tool. You are going to be able to get also his office number or probably maybe his corporate telephone number, and you might be able to get also his verified email. If not, then by going to the company's website and using tools such as Hunter, for example, you are going to be able to see the email pattern of the company, and if you cannot find his email address, then you can guess which his proper email address is going to be. For example, first name dot last name at xyz.com. You have to see that the results that you put inside your list make sense. What I want to say with that is that if you find the sales manager based in Germany, for example, and his telephone number is a telephone number in Australia, that means that it doesn't make sense in the whole concept. How can you have a telephone number with an Australian sign for somebody that works in a company in Munich, Germany? You have to check that, control that, and put the proper details inside. A lead generation can never be 100% correct. There is a lot of estimation there. However, the biggest challenge is to understand in complex scenarios and complex industries who the proper persons are that you need to identify, search, and find their contact details so that you can have a decent and constructive conversation. I hope that all helps.